Let's go ahead and take a look, man. Let's take a look at the fourth quarter. Look, first thing I saw was Caitlin and DeWanna Bonner in the paint, and it looked like DeWanna Bonner had Caitlin arm, and Caitlin flung her off. She's like, man, get off me. And DeWanna Bonner was trying to act like she wasn't holding her. Y'all know how they be, man, when they be doing some dirty stuff and then they throw their hands up. Yeah, y'all know what's going on. But look, check this out. So this is the second time right here, right? This is the second time. Look. Kayla like, chill the F out now. Chill the F out.
For most of the night, the story seemed simple. Caitlin Clark was trying to drag the Indiana Fever out of an ugly offensive start. The shots weren't falling. The rhythm wasn't there. The energy inside the arena felt completely different from what fans expected. Then everything changed. Because this wasn't just about scoring anymore. This became a confrontation. As the game moved deeper into the fourth quarter, the tension between Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner began boiling over. Every possession carried extra emotion. Every whistle created another argument. Every trip down the floor felt like two competitors trying to establish dominance. What made the moment so fascinating wasn't simply the physical play. It was the history behind it. For more than a year, opponents have tested Caitlin Clark with aggressive defense, hard contact, and psychological pressure. Meanwhile, veterans like DeWanna Bonner built their careers on toughness, experience, and refusing to back down from any challenge. When those two approaches collide, the result is rarely calm. And on this night, the game transformed from a basketball contest into a battle of personalities. The Indiana Fever desperately needed a statement victory. Caitlin Clark needed to prove she could overcome physical defense. DeWanna Bonner wasn't interested in giving away an inch. By the time the fourth quarter arrived, the scoreboard almost became secondary. The real story was the growing hostility between two players determined to win every single interaction. And that's when the temperature of the game exploded.
Then what was crazy, after that play where DB was throwing Caitlin, right? They called the foul on Caitlin. Caitlin was like, what the F did I do? Come on, refs, man. What are y'all looking at, dog? What are y'all looking at? Y'all know dang well DB was not supposed to be on that line, man. It was like 5 or 6 techs. You get a tech. You get a tech. If you were watching at home, I think you got a tech. All right, I got a tech.
The most controversial sequence of the night arrived when contact between Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner reached another level. There was frustration over the officiating and confusion regarding who initiated the physicality. That reaction matters because it reveals how emotional the contest had become. Earlier in the game, Caitlin Clark was focused primarily on rescuing Indiana's offense. She attacked in transition. She hit difficult shots. She created opportunities for teammates. But as the game progressed, DeWanna Bonner became increasingly involved in the physical battle taking place away from the ball. Those interactions changed the tone completely. Instead of discussing pick-and-roll execution, everyone suddenly focused on confrontations. Instead of discussing offensive sets, everyone focused on reactions. And that's exactly what veteran players often try to create. When a game becomes emotional, discipline becomes more important than talent. DeWanna Bonner has spent years understanding how emotional pressure affects opponents. Caitlin Clark has spent her young professional career learning how to handle that pressure. That clash of experience versus rising superstardom became the defining storyline. The long-term consequence is even more significant. Every future matchup now carries baggage. Every future screen, rebound, and loose ball situation between Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner will be viewed through the lens of this confrontation. That is how rivalries are born, not through press conferences, not through social media, through repeated physical battles that leave both sides convinced they were wronged. By the end of the fourth quarter, nobody was treating this like an ordinary regular season game. It felt personal. And when games become personal, the next meeting becomes must-watch television.
Well, they started chopping it up, right? They chopping it up. Look, Sophie Cunningham, Big Petty. Sophie pointing at her, DB losing her mind. She mad they losing. Look, nah. Sophie like, here, get you some. Get you some, man. What you gonna do about it? I got this black belt. If you want to throw some hands, I got the hands for you, huh? I got the hands for you. Look at, don't point at me. Nah, don't point at me. Look, she losing her mind.
Basketball rivalries are rarely created by one moment. They're created by accumulation. One shove, one stare, one disagreement, one reaction. The interaction involving Sophie Cunningham added another layer to the atmosphere surrounding Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner. Suddenly, the conflict was no longer isolated. teammates became involved emotionally. Benches became invested. Players started defending one another. That is where psychology becomes critical. Veterans such as DeWanna Bonner understand that basketball isn't only physical, it's mental. The goal isn't always to score, sometimes the goal is to disrupt focus. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark faces a challenge that previous superstar guards also encountered. Every opponent wants to test composure. Every opponent wants to determine whether frustration can influence decision-making. Historically, great players separate themselves by refusing to lose emotional control. Think about how elite stars throughout professional basketball history learn to absorb contact while continuing to execute. That process takes years. What makes Caitlin Clark unique is that she is experiencing those lessons under a spotlight far larger than most young players ever face. Every reaction becomes a headline. Every disagreement becomes a debate. Every confrontation becomes national discussion. For DeWanna Bonner, the challenge is different. Veteran competitors often take pride in establishing toughness. Backing down is not part of their identity. As a result, neither side has much incentive to retreat. That creates a perfect recipe for recurring tension. The psychological battle therefore becomes just as important as the basketball battle. Can Caitlin Clark continue producing elite offense while absorbing constant physical attention? Can DeWanna Bonner continue imposing veteran toughness without crossing disciplinary lines? Those questions remain unanswered. But after this game, they're impossible to ignore.
Pick on somebody. She ready to throw some bowls. Shoulder lean Thomas, right? Alyssa Shoulder lean Thomas in the building. Here she come driving in. Hands out and like, you're not strong. Get off me. You thought you was doing something. You not moving a thing over here. I got too much weight. You ain't doing S. That's what she said. Hey, T, we beefing forever, baby. Somebody get the grill.
The biggest impact may not be what happened during this game. It may be what happens next, because rivalries affect organizations. Rivalries affect locker rooms. Rivalries affect fan engagement. And rivalries affect the league's overall visibility. The confrontation involving Caitlin Clark, DeWanna Bonner, and Alyssa Thomas demonstrated how quickly a competitive matchup can evolve into something much bigger. For Indiana, the message was clear. The Fever no longer want to be viewed as a team that can be pushed around. That matters enormously for team chemistry. Championship-caliber teams often develop a collective identity around protection and accountability. When teammates respond to conflict together, trust tends to grow. For opponents, that creates a new challenge. They are no longer dealing only with Caitlin Clark. They are dealing with an entire roster that appears increasingly willing to respond. Financially and commercially, these moments matter too. Games featuring Caitlin Clark already attract extraordinary attention. Add a genuine rivalry with veterans like DeWanna Bonner and interest rises even further. Fans remember conflict. Fans remember emotion. Fans remember games that feel different, and this game felt different. Looking ahead, every future meeting will carry additional pressure. Every hard foul will be examined. Every technical foul will be debated. Every interaction between Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner will be scrutinized. That's the reality once a rivalry reaches this level. The next chapter isn't a possibility, it's inevitable.